Now, British scientists are warning of more extreme weather in this country due to the loss of sea ice in the Arctic. They're warning that in some parts of the North Pole, ice is thinning twice as fast as previously thought. Let's speak to the lead author of that research at UCL, Robbie Mallett. Robbie, this is not good news, is it? We know how urgent this situation is as far as climate change and the thinning ice in the Arctic is concerned, but to be twice as fast as expected is a shocker.
Yeah, nobody wants to see the ice thinning in these regions. They're really critical for regulating global climate, and they're really important for the people that use the Arctic and live there.
Why has it taken so long to get this research done? I mean, what was it? The last data was decades out of date?
Yeah, so traditionally we've used data that was gathered in the 20th century and compiled in 1999 for the snow depth. But in this study, we used data that was made by a model that looks at basically a weather forecast running in reverse. And we used that and combined it with European Space Agency radar data to work out the trend in sea ice thickness in these regions.
And so, of course, you've now got this really crucial up-to-date data. Tell us about the significance of how thick the ice is. What difference does it make?
So the ice spends the winter building up its immune system, and then in the summer it has this onslaught of solar radiation, sunshine. But when the ice can't grow as thick in the winter, then it can't survive the summer melt, and it begins to retreat from these areas. And that exposes the dark ocean below, which absorbs the sun's rays and heats the region. And that's one of the big reasons why the Arctic's heating at 3 times the global rate.
Right, so it's the thickness of the ice that protects the sea. And what impact does that have in that specific region? Obviously, the Arctic feels miles away, but it does impact people locally, right? There are indigenous communities there. There is shipping that goes on around there. Can you tell us a bit more in detail about the impact that has there?
Yeah, so 4 million people live north of the Arctic Circle. So there's a lot of people who are directly invested in the Arctic. But also we looked at areas that form what's called the Northeast Passage, which is effectively the shipping route between Europe and China. And as the ice begins to thin there, we're probably going to see increasing ship traffic there in winter, as you need to strengthen your icebreakers much less to break through the ice and do that trade route.
And then, I guess, let's talk about the impact here in the UK and the rest of the world. How does it affect us or people watching?
So aside from the shipping implications, there are also strong implications for global climate. As the ice recedes, we basically see more global warming. We see Arctic amplification increasing, which is the word for the Arctic heating more quickly than the rest of the globe. We're hesitant to draw any conclusions about extreme weather and how that impacts us in where Britain is located in the mid-latitudes, because that's basically still extremely contentious.
So then, does it affect things like, we hear about rising sea levels or the impact on marine life and wildlife? Does it affect all those things as well?
Sea ice is floating on the surface of the ocean, so a bit like an ice cube when it melts. It doesn't really impact the sea level. It does a little bit. But the big impact on marine life is important, because as the ice retreats and as it thins, much less light from the sun reaches what we call primary producers at the surface of the ocean, and they convert sunlight to energy, which is then consumed by larger animals like fish and marine mammals. So that's really important.
Robbie Mallett, lead author of that research. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us at Sky News.
Thanks.